Hello, my friend, and welcome to Wisdom Trek. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for a 5-day-per-week wisdom and legacy building podcast. This is day 719 of our trek, and it is time for our Mindshift Monday series. Wisdom Trek's primary focus is to assist you in creating your living legacy. Creating your living legacy can only be accomplished by gaining wisdom in many areas of life. You can only gain wisdom by changing what you allow to go into your mind, which will result in changing the way you think. In other words, to create your living legacy, you must choose to be in continual mode of mind shift. It is easy to get stuck in a mindset that your current circumstances cannot be changed. This is just not true, but you have to understand this fundamental principle. In order to change your life, you must change how you think and what you think about. Our Mindshift Monday podcast and journal will provide you with practical ways to make a mind shift to a rich and satisfying life. We are broadcasting from our studios at the Big House in Marietta, Ohio. When this episode originally airs, I should be back from Arizona working with our partners on our townhome project. Everything is in place now, and we have begun Phase 2. We have a tight deadline for this phase, so it is important that we streamline our processes to be successful. We learned many lessons during Phase 1. Lessons learned is a nice way of saying that we had many failures. Cost overruns, labor overruns, and time overruns caused the potential profits in Phase 1 to evaporate. This forces us to have a mind shift on our approach, and with most important lessons learned, we know that Phase 2 will be success through failure. For most of us during our trek of life, we have a variety of experiences that we would consider failures. The frustration, the hurt, expended energies, disappointments, and loss of resources is a feeling that applies to most of us. Perhaps it's this feeling of failure that causes many to begin to fear failure. Maybe that fear stems from the fact that we have a misconception that failure is final. Even a significant failure, if it does not result in a loss of life, those failures can be used to build future successes through these 4 principles. A failure is not a failure if it prods you to keep on trying. The line between failure and success is often so fine that we can scarcely know when we have passed it. In fact, we are often on the line and don't even realize it. Many a person has thrown up their hands and quit when with a little more effort and patience they would have succeeded. Just as the tide of the ocean goes clear out, so it comes clear back in. There is no failure except from within yourself. There is no insurmountable barrier until you give up on your pursuit. Booker T. Washington said, "Success is to be measured not so much by the position one has reached in his life as by the obstacles which he has overcome while trying to succeed." Each person has a choice to live in one of 2 worlds: the crowded world of the defeated, those who quit, or the roomy world of the successful, those who persist. God does not desire for us to be defeated, but allows hardships to grow us and to mature us to handle success. In most situations, it boils down to the laws of planting and harvesting, as we are told in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 6. Remember this: a farmer who plants only a few seeds will get a small crop, but one who plants generously will get a generous crop. Our second point for today is a failure is not a failure if we learn a lesson from that experience and use it for good. D.H. Lawrence said, "If only we could live 2 lives, the first one which we would make the mistake, and the second one in which we would profit from the lesson learned." And indeed, we can do this by the various seasons in our lives. As a young writer was told, every one of your rejected manuscripts were rejected for a reason. So let me ask you, have you checked each failure and found out why? You must put your failure to work for you. The greatest mistake that we can make is not learning and then correcting what caused us to fail. The third point is, a failure is not a failure if through it we discover our own true selves. Reading the biographies of many great men and women, it is evidence that the most successful people started out their lives as failures, and because of those failures, they found their life's work. An example of this is when Nathaniel Hawthorne lost his position at the Custom House in Salem, Massachusetts. He came home utterly defeated and told his wife that he was a complete failure. To his amazement, she greeted his dismal news with delight and joy, saying, "Great, now you can write that book you've always wanted to." So he sat down and wrote The Scarlet Letter, which is considered by many critics as the greatest novel ever written in the United States. If because of a failure a person finally discovers where and how their talents can be used for God, the failure will be turned into a success. And the fourth point is, a failure is not a failure if through it we become a better disciplined individual. The Bible has much to say about disciplined living. The Apostle Paul teaches us in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 24 through 27, "Don't you realize that in a race everyone runs, but only one person gets the prize? So run to win. All athletes are disciplined in their training. They do so to win a prize that will fade away, but we do it for an eternal prize. So I run with purpose in every step. I am not just shadow boxing. I discipline my body like an athlete, training it to do what it should. Otherwise, I fear that after preaching to others, I myself might be disqualified." All great men and women have had failure, struggle, and discipline woven into their lives. If the experiences we encounter on our trek of life, regardless of how bitter or unfortunate, soften our hearts, humble our spirits, purify our motives, clean our souls, and make us more sensitive to proper values and more sympathetic toward the unfortunate, then we will have succeeded. If we allow our failures to be instruments to discipline our inner spirits, they will be successes. Next week, we will continue our trek of Mindshift Monday, and on tomorrow's trek, we will explore another wisdom quote. This 3-minute wisdom supplement will assist you on becoming healthy, wealthy, and wise each day. Thank you for joining me on this trek that we call life. And encourage your friends and family to join us and to come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, creating a legacy. If you'd like to listen to any of the past daily treks or read the daily journal, they are all available at wisdom-trek.com. You can also subscribe to iTunes or Google Play so that each day's trek will be downloaded to you automatically. And thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal. And as we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and then create a great day every day. See you tomorrow.